Well, hello, everyone. Weird things are about to happen. And I say this because this is where things really got confusing. And this time coming up, you notice, okay, I talked about the Queen's death, talked about weird economic things, uh, uh, you know, the, the, the false president, and, and all those things, and I also talked about truth coming out, and the natural disasters have also been occurring. And these were things that were coming up. And what about this part that is the most confusing um, is these next few events, because, I did talk about all hope being lost and Mr. T, or, well, Trump becoming silent, and then it was like he was running for presidency. And that's the weird thing, is like 2 years, like hardly anybody does anything 2 years before an election. Like most of the time it occurs like typically people won't announce their candidacy until like maybe the summer of next year, maybe at the earliest spring of next year. So, you know, so him announcing his candidacy, and then he's acting like there's going to be an election soon. And and while that's going on, I'd also talked about, if you go through my stuff, you'll hear me talk about Biden getting impeached. Do you see how all those things are now popping up? You know, and and this is where I I there this is definitely not like what's going on Twitter right now. That's not full disclosure yet. That's just like the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's so much more that's going to be revealed. And same thing with technology. Um, the quantum financial system is about to come up. And so let's be clear on something. The quantum financial system is completely different than the CBD thing, or whatever Biden's calling his digital currency. Trump set up the quantum financial system. Well, whatever the Democrats are doing, they're doing something completely different that's still tied to the old system. And that's the thing, is this is the time where old systems die and new systems come up, and they're better systems and a better philosophy, not the old ways that we've been living. Okay? And you can't get the two confused, because I know how it seems like they're together, but they're not together. Like this is the old systems are going to die, and that's going to be the painful process that we're going to have to all go through. And that's going to begin with a currency collapse. Now, it appears as if, as bad things happen, something equally good will probably happen close or around to the same time. And I've been kind of waiting for this time, because it's different reading it, especially reading it without any dates, except for like the only thing I had to go off of was presidents, you know. So this is the part where everything gets real mysterious and clouded, and oh, and I also popped up like, the possibility. I talked about the possibility of Trump being, arrested. I talked about that, way back, that all these events that you're seeing right now would come to pass. The possibility of either Biden either being impeached or dying of, I don't know, cancer or something, um, and then and if I remember correctly, I don't think Trump has that much longer to live either. Um, but see, that's where everything gets all confused, because all that death could have been referring to Biden. I don't know. I also remember justice being served, and I do believe people are going to be tried for treason. Um, I do believe that was in there. And so it's all this truth that's going to come out. And like I said, this is just the beginning of it. And I'm just going to let it come out because, in a lot of ways, I've tried to tell people everything. And I tell people on Twitter, I mean, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Rafael Terrio, with the @ symbol. Um, I try to do my best to tell the truth or disclose the truth. Not that many people listen because the truth kind of seems like fiction. And yeah, so just know that next year is going to be a roller coaster, because bad things are going to happen and then good things are going to happen, or it could be all bad. I can't, like I said, this time period was the most confusing read that I'd ever read before. And so, but anyways, all this is going to lead to the person who we actually elect in 2024, unless shenanigans happen and for some reason we have an early election, or I don't know. All I know is that some weird shit is about to happen that's going to blow everybody's mind. And it's going to catch, well, I wouldn't say everybody, but it's going to catch like probably 90 to 95% of the population off, because in order to wake up the populace, shocking events have to happen, or else they're stuck in this whole James Lang theory thing of automaticity, of just continuing to live their life as if they're not in control, and they would just more or let other people control their lives and the way on which they dictate the pace of their life. And that's the new thing that's being introduced. That's the quantum era. The quantum era is about you learning how to cooperate within a team or even alone. But the major thing that you got to learn how to do is you got to learn how to create. Now, I'm not saying that you just whiffly, like just magically appear, create something that appears out of like thin air. No, I mean, this is your time to do something that impacts society in a good way. So time travel is going to be revealed. As a matter of fact, I've been revealing time travel just, off of all this. Um, the quantum era, you're going to have quantum computers, and that can involve time travel too. It's about creating dimensions and time travel, not in a bad way. The dimensions are more of a controlled way. And AI is going to be introduced to us, and so humanity, the one aspect that they need to come about to is they need to boost up their spirituality, because our spirituality compared to the technology that we have is out of balance. And that's why there's so much chaos with technology, is because that's the purpose we feel like we should use it for, is destruction. But we got to learn how to use technology to create, to reduce hunger, to improve people's lives. And we need to take a look at, the government just really needs to be retransformed all the way down to the criminal justice system, to uh, to Congress, to the financial system. All that's going to get a remake over. Not that it's going to change. Well, it's going to change. The financial system's going to definitely change. But with Congress, like, new members need to be in there. And I don't think necessarily term limits. If we have gold as our currency, I don't think term limits are necessary for Congress. But those in Congress should have the willpower to step down when their time has come. But we should also pay them less. Being a politician should not be a career. Um, and I think that would take a lot of the corruption away. The gold standard, and just, making it to where Congress doesn't meet so much and make it a career out of it. That's where y'all gotta wisen up at and quit selecting these people in the primaries over and over and over again. Come on. You want fresh blood. That's how things really change. We keep electing the same dumbasses every single time. Nothing's going to change. But everything is about to change. Like I said, all before were the previous events. Now some weird shit's going to happen that is really hard for me to describe, because, it was just so strange reading it that, I know the financial crisis is going to happen, and this is going to be really, really bad. And it's this part that's going to take place where those who hate Trump are going to want him back in office. They are going to actually beg for him to come back to office. So think about a financial crash so bad that Democrats can no longer hate Trump, and they beg for him to come back. Yeah, I don't want to go through that, because I know that's going to be a lot of pain. But in a way, that's where I was talking about a bad thing happens and then a good thing happens. Like, the financial crash is going to be a bad thing that happens. But on the other spectrum of it is, it's going to wake up probably mostly everybody to create that good effect. You see how it's coming out? The all God, the creator, the all father, what you want to call him or her, or, because I don't necessarily think the all has a gender. But whatever you want to call it, is going to be showing us a lot of stuff. And so please pay attention, and please try and get other people to pay attention, because this is our point in which we choose where we either embrace the light or are corrupted by the darkness. And if we're corrupted by the darkness, then it's gonna lead us down a very, very dark, dark path. And there may not be an escape to that. But that's why I say choose the light. We got to get people woken up. That should be everybody's mission right now, is the waking up of society. and just trying to push that. And all you got to do is speak about it, you know, and especially when this economic crash is about to happen. The Probably the most painful thing that we're all going to experience, because I remember when I was reading this that it just felt excruciating. Um, yeah, I can just say that from the words that I remember, this was just horrible. But after this, things kind of start to turn around, and like I said, we elect the Great Uniter in 2024. Um, and you know, when I see their message, I should know who this person is, and they should be a good person. And then, unfortunately, like I said before, when something good happens, something bad is also going to happen. But it's also going to, this the Great Uniter is also going to take us into World War III. But I'm assuming with a purpose, because the person doesn't really want to go to war. But if we find out that the virus was made in Typhoon, China, um, or you know, um, Fauci and the vaccine um, equals death. If all that turns out to be true, um, then there's going to be consequences. And I don't exactly. I feel like there was some kind of maybe attack that happened on America after the person got elected, not too far, if not on the day, I don't know. But man, we will be going into war against Russia, China, and Iran. And like in the beginning, like when I read it, and I think I even stated it too, we would be losing this war in the beginning. And if you cannot tell, we are losing this war. Because right now the battlefield is the economy. China, Russia, BRICS, they got Iran. Iran's selling Russia weapons. China's given Russia military in Ukraine. They're already allied, the Triangle Alliance. So, I mean, it's already there. And so time's going to be stepping forward a little bit. So we'll see how things play out. But, I've shown you where it all leads. I didn't get the small details onto where it goes, or like names of people and stuff like that. All I got were like just nicknames for them. Not with the bad guys like Russia, China, and Iran, but when I was talking about the three presidents before the Great Uniter. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out. But do prepare for an economic crash like you have not ever seen before. And if you have not done so now, I think the only way to protect yourself from this is to put whatever you can in gold and silver. Don't go broke. Don't put your whole paycheck or something into it. It's something really you'd have to do little at a time, but it's better late than never. Um, but the quantum era is here, and the quantum era is going to be about time and timelines and space travel. Um, it's going to be different and interesting. Um, and I think, because I spoke about time travel before, I think when all this is over with, we'll be able to like I would say maybe by the year 2030, 2032, you'll be able to like vacation to the past. You know, like if you want to go see the 1985 World Series in person, you know, that might be something that you might be able to do. I don't exactly know how all that's going to work yet, but you should be able to visit the past um, and vacation and all that. Um, but there's still, what, 8, 10 years left of this BS. It gets better as time moves forward, except for right now. Like, until 2024, if I got the timeline right, there's still one thing that can jolt everything, and that's, um, well, if it happens, I'll let you know. I've talked about it before, but it would have to do with like new elections or something like that. But I'm not quite so sure that happens. From what I remember, it was more like a reinstatement or something. I don't know. This time is just weird. Okay. um. But it's almost coming to an end. Like I've been waiting for the economic collapse because that was like the last portion of it. As horrible as it may seem, make sure that you have good enough food. I don't know exactly how long this economic collapse is going to last. From what I read, it seemed like it was a short time, but then when I was reading everything, everything seemed like a short time. So it could be a few months to 2024, 2025. Um, the only way we're going to get out of this is to switch to a gold standard. That's the only exit out of this financial slavery bullshit. But, anyways, I feel like I've been rambling for too long. I mean, 22 minutes. Yeah. So, y'all have a good one. And until next time, adios.